writing it out. So, yeah, just bear with us. These things happen. CEO. Yeah.
Good evening, councillors, staff and members of the public. Welcome to this ordinary meeting of Blue Mountain City Council. We'd like to advise members of the public that registration to speak at the public forum before the meeting has, of course, now closed. Only the Mayor has discretion to accept any late speakers under our Code of Meeting Practice, but there were no speakers in the actual formal part of this meeting henceforth. This meeting is being recorded. The audio recording will be available on the Council's website for 12 months after the upload date. As all statements made at this meeting will be recorded, your image and voice may be recognised, and I'm saying this mainly to the councillors as well, and other people may be aware that you have attended this meeting, and your attendance at the meeting is after I make this statement, is taken as your consent to your voice being recorded. All persons in attendance at this meeting should refrain from making any defamatory comments or from releasing any personal or confidential information about another individual without that individual's consent. The Council is not responsible for the statements of any individual made during the meeting, and any defamatory statements or any statements that include personal or confidential information are the sole responsibility of the individual who makes them. The Council's Code of Meeting Practice sets standards of conduct for a meeting, and if any person in attendance acts in a disorderly manner, or if they make defamatory or unacceptable comments, then the meeting may be interrupted by the Mayor or by me, the Chief Executive Officer, and appropriate action taken. This meeting must not be recorded by any party other than Council. And should we need, for any reason, to vacate these chambers, I'd really appreciate it if you follow the advice of Council staff. And I now ask you to please be upstanding for the Mayor.
It takes me a while to get up that. Thank you. Good evening, council staff and members of the public. The City of Blue Mountains is located within the country of the Darug and the Gundungurra peoples. Blue Mountain City Council recognises that Darug and Gundungurra traditional owners have a continuous and deep connection to their country, and that this is of great cultural significance to Aboriginal people both locally and in the region. For Darug and Gundungurra people, Nura takes in everything within the physical, cultural and spiritual landscape. Landforms, waters, air, trees, rocks, plants, animals, foods, medicines, minerals, stories and special places. It includes cultural practice, kinship, knowledge, songs, stories and art, as well as spiritual beings and people, past, present and future. The Blue Mountain City Council pays respect to the elders past and present while recognising the strength, capacity and resilience of past and present Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people in the Blue Mountains region. Please be seated. I have no apologies for tonight. You've got a full house. I do need to take declarations of interest. We might need to move that up the agenda because I've actually got resolutions coming up now. So I'm going to move declarations of interest up. I have one declaration, Councillor Buckham.
Thank you, Your Worship. I have a non-significant, non-pecuniary interest in item 9, but I will remain in the room if that's acceptable.
Yes, acceptable, and it's not Your Worship.
You told me it was.
No. That might be the Minister's view, but it's certainly not mine. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so a non-significant, non-pecuniary interest in item number 9, but not sufficient to put you out of the room. Thank you. All right, so I want to move to item number 3, which is the mayoral minutes standing in my name in relation to public forums. It's moved me second to the Deputy Mayor. I don't think we need to talk about this in too much detail. As you know, the Minister has removed the potential for the public to speak at council meetings. So what we're doing is we're setting up a forum prior to each council meeting. Now, it's not needed tonight because we've got no public speakers, but where there are public speakers, they will come and address their item prior to the council meeting. So we'll open the council meeting, we'll suspend standing orders, have a forum, members of the public wish to address us can come and address us. It's not like the old days, you can't shoot questions at them anymore. You'll have to listen to their point of view. Then they will finish and we'll resume standing orders and have the meeting. So by separating public speakers from the meeting, we avoid offending the changes to the law. And public speakers will get to speak. Now as you know, I think the way things were before was better, where public could come and address the council on certain items, and where it's great not having the podium there because I can actually see you, and where we were able to have briefing sessions, which we're not able to have now either. But this way, the public can come and address us. It's not materially different to what existed before, except there's not an exchange between the councillors and the public, but that rarely happened anyway. In the public forum, if we do get people coming along and, you know, making a clown of themselves by wanting to speak to every item, keep us here till 1 in the morning, I have the power to kind of deal with that, where it's obvious someone's having a land, and to bring that into some sort of control. But I think this is good. It brings the community back into the council, and it gives the people a chance to speak to you and address you. So I think it's a sensible move, and I commend it to you. Deputy Mayor, you don't wish to speak? Anyone else? One matter before us, I'll put it. Those in favour, against, declare it carried unanimously. We have no public speakers tonight, so we will not have to use that mechanism. So I won't need to suspend standing orders, have a public forum and resume them. But the agenda will now read, after we do declarations of interest, so I'll have to move declarations of interest up the agenda will then read suspension of standing orders, public forum, resumption of standing orders, then minutes. Yeah, okay. And just in terms of item 4, the policy document which we pulled together was pulled together very quickly. So there's a few typos that need to be fixed in that before it is issued to the public. So that just gives the CEO the power to fix the typos. So that was moved in what you just moved. All right, thank you. That brings me to the minutes of the ordinary meeting of 27 January 06. Can I have a motion that be accepted? It's moved Councillor Fell, seconded Councillor Rodrigo. All those in favour, against, declare it carried, and I will sign the minutes accordingly. Oh, you weren't there. Councillor Buckham, my thanks. I'll put that again. It's moved Councillor Fell, seconded Councillor West. All those in favour, against, declare it carried unanimously. Thank you. That's right, because Councillor Fell had to get himself to the council meeting because you were selfishly sick. And I publicly call you out for it. He's an older man. So anyway, thank you. All right, so the next item, I have a mayoral matter of urgency in relation to the Australian Local Government Women's Association Conference. It's 2 delegates, isn't it? Yep. So first I'm going to put the motion, then I'm going to have an election. So the motion is moved Councillor Buckham, seconded Councillor West. All those in favour? Actually, no, sorry. It's a mayoral matter of urgency. What am I taking tonight? It's moved by me, seconded Councillor Buckham. All those in favour? Against, declare it carried unanimously. Now I have 2 nominations that have been given to me, both moved by Councillor Fell and seconded by Councillor West. And they are nominations for Nairi Fisher and Romola Hollywood, which is why I didn't take you as a seconder, to be our delegates to the Australian Local Government's Women's Association Conference. Are there any other nominations? Being none, I'll get a motion to accept and approve those nominations. It's moved Councillor Buckham, seconded Councillor Fell, that Nairi Fisher and Romola Hollywood represent us at the Australian Local Government Women's Association. I'll put that. All those in favour? Against, declare it carried unanimously, and I thank you. All right, mayoral minutes. I'm going to move through these very quickly. Lapston Hill Tunnel. You will see that. All right, so Lapston Hill Tunnel, we got $4 million, or was it 5, Will? Or Kiralee? 4 to 5 million, somewhere between 4 and 5 million, to decontaminate the tunnel, the Lapston Hill Tunnel, to clean it out and to put lighting in it. And we had an open day last year, which was hugely successful. I mean, basically the Blue Mountains turned out to see it. And for those of you that don't know, Lapston Hill Tunnel is the site of the Arthur Streeton painting, Fires On. Famous Arthur Streeton painting, which stands in the Art Gallery of New South Wales, was the construction of the Lapston Hill Tunnel. And our plan, as you all know, and for those of you who read the Sydney Morning Herald today, you'll see a story on it. Our plan has been for a long time to open it up to the public so the public can enjoy it. And the state government, who owns the property, we don't, it's their property, they funded it, but we said we'll project manage the work, and then we'll manage the site when it's open. All you need to do is give us the money. It's a piece of Australia's history. Not only is it a street and painting, but it's actually one of the finest examples of early 1800s rail work that you'll find, and it's in perfect order. The issue is the state government said they'd fund it, but the money they gave us to do that work wasn't enough. So when we expended the 4 or 5 million, we decontaminated the tunnel, we cleaned it out, but we weren't able to ensure access and egress that is safe, because both the western and the eastern portals open onto dangerous roads. We also need to put some parking and some landscaping on the sites as well. Plus, there's a plan, because cycling will be part of the tunnel experience, to do some work to build a pump track where the old sewer treatment plant was, next to the tunnel in Glenbrook. So we needed extra money. The New South Wales government, having said they would help us out, said, look, we'll help you out, but go and ask the Commonwealth for the money. So we applied for the Commonwealth Government's Urban Partnership Scheme and Precincts Program. They said no. So where we are is that all that $4 million worth of work we've done will go down the spout if we can't finish it, because we can't open it. The tunnel looks fantastic. For those of you who were there on the open day, it looks amazing. And we've just let the contract to do the lighting. So it's like it's ready to go. People just can't access it. So we'll do an open day in a couple of months' time. At that open day, we'll have petitions. We'll be engaging the community to pressure the two other levels of government to fork up the coin. It's a good deal for them, because this piece of Australia's history locked up gets reopened. We'll manage it. We'll project manage the work, and we'll manage the site for them. All they have to do is foot the bill. They don't have to manage it ongoing. So we need another, we need to identify another $9 to $10 million to realise the full activation of that precinct. Small beer for the other two levels of government, but significant money for us. We can't afford it. And again, it's not our site. So we're not going to spend money on a state government site. So the Herald article today, you'll notice the Herald went to the Minister. The Minister declined to comment. But we're going to make this campaign a big one. So the next step will be the open day. But I'm going to bring a further report to you, which is covered by this resolution, which will talk more about the work that we need to do. And the next step will be that we have another open day. So this is really kicking off a campaign to pressure the other levels of government, in particular the state government, to get behind this program and make a famous piece of Australia's post-colonial history come alive again. It's a great thing that we can do, and it's not just a Ward 4 issue. This is something that's popular with the whole of the Blue Mountains, because it's about part of our history. We're all about truth-telling. We talk about the pre-colonial and post-colonial history of our country and our area in truthful terms. So I hope that you all get behind this. Does the Deputy Mayor wish to speak as seconder? Yeah. I took a seconder, didn't I? It's the Deputy Mayor, yeah. Anyone else wish to speak? Ward 4? No? Said it all? All right, one matter before us. I'll put it. All those in favour? Against, declare it carried unanimously. Item number 2, it's moved by me, second the Deputy Mayor. So we recently purchased Point Plaza. When I say recently, over 12 months ago. What we were going to do was to have a council law committee that was keeping abreast of how that investment was going. Minister's changes means we can't have a committee like that. So all this resolution does is it means that the staff will update the councillors directly by way of either reports or leadership updates. So we'll still get the information, but it won't be by way of a standalone committee, because you can't have them anymore. What the Minister says is that to have a council committee, a committee of council, you have to make them open to the public. The problem is, with an investment, you're talking about financially sensitive information that goes to our investment strategy, and that puts us at a competitive disadvantage. So we'll just report it to council in the normal way. So it's moved me, second the Deputy Mayor. Any speeches, any dissent, any speakers? Nope. All right, I'll put it. All those in favour? Against, declare it carried unanimously. Right, we've got no public speakers. Labor's Whip, Councillor Fell, you wish to pull anything out?
Thank you, Mr Mayor.
It's a pleasure.
It would be. I'd like to pull item number 9. Thank you,
sir. I appreciate that. Councillor Fisher, anything? Councillor Buckham? Councillor Rodrigo? Councillor Miles? Councillor West? You're content? Excellent. Councillor Hollywood? Councillor Hua? Councillor Redshaw? 6 and 10. 6 and 10. Thank you very much. Councillor Van Opdorp? Councillor Jamieson? Right. So, councillors, mark your business papers. Items 4, 5, 7, 8, 11 are moved in globo. It's moved Councillor Miles, seconded Councillor Fell. All those in favour? Against? Declare it carried unanimously. Thank you. That brings me to item number 6. Do you wish to move anything, councillor? Okay, item number 6 is moved Councillor West, seconded Councillor Buckham. The resolution is now on the table. Councillor Redshaw, you wish to speak to it?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'd like to congratulate the staff on their response to this, because it is a seriously problematic plan, the draft Sydney plan, which essentially doesn't take into account the Blue Mountains as a different area from Sydney. It's absurd. And this idea that this government has adopted that, well, everybody says their area is different, means that you don't take anybody seriously, is absurd. So it's a really disappointing thing to see, and I think we can be very proud of our council for the response that they have put together. I mean, there are a number of particular things that the World Heritage Area is not even recognised, the bushfire risk that the Blue Mountains poses, the need to take care of the natural environment of the Blue Mountains, dealing with the transport corridor, which is a major issue for anyone in the Blue Mountains. They note that there is no coordination between the white paper, the transport Sydney to Central West white paper, and that visitor infrastructure is not eligible for urban development program funding, and that's a significant issue for us, where a lot of infrastructure is about visitation. And it's also noted that the environment's an afterthought, which is appalling in the current context of climate change and the risks that we're facing. So I just wanted to commend the submission. It's excellent work. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak? All right. Councillors, I just, by way of assistance from the chair, draw your attention to some articles on 702 this last week. I was interviewed on the Drive program about this very issue and the manifestation of it at Narrowneck. And we ended up doing quite a lengthy interview, which was live to air. And the following afternoon, they interviewed the local member on the same issue. You would of course note the mayoral minute that we passed recently about this very issue, and understand that this will be a point of campaigning for this council. Some of us have spent an awful lot of years fighting against overdevelopment in the Blue Mountains, and I think we're all unanimous on it here. So we're going to have a battle ahead, and that battle starts with Narrowneck, which is the most appalling development many of us have ever seen raised in the Blue Mountains. And I've got to say, it's, to me, very disappointing that the government is not fine-grained at all in its approach. And I hate to say it, perhaps I would have expected much better from this government. The approach, as Councillor Redshaw has said this, is one size fits all, which is just so lacking in finesse and lacking in sophistication. And a lot of people fought to protect Sydney's heritage, and vast tracts of those areas that were protected in the past by green bans and activism will be wiped out. I'm not saying we can't house our population, but housing is about more than just supply and building $1 million homes. It's about taxation, it's about foreign investment, and it's about the fact that wealthy people can accumulate more and more properties for very little money and then compete with first home buyers in the market. It's a much more complex issue than just supply. And that is not a speech, but just words of assistance from the chair for the council. Anyone else wish to speak on this matter? I ask that? No? Sarah, thank you. It's been moved and seconded. I'll put it. All those in favour? Against, declare it carried unanimously. Item number 9. Is this moved and seconded? It's moved. Councillor Miles, seconded Councillor Fell. Councillor Hollywood has the floor.
I have actually emailed some amendments to Jason. You won't be able to pick them up.
Councillor Hollywood, I'm happy to stop the clock at this point. The clock shall stop, and you can read the amendments to the room.
Okay.
And you're moving these amendments, and after you've read them, I'll then take a seconder.
Okay. I can give you my phone because you can't access your emails.
Don't worry about that. Just deal with the meeting for the moment.
Okay. So I would like to move an additional point that runs on from point 2, which is so it says that this is going to be an ongoing event for this and future years, provided that a parking plan is in place for each event going forward. And I would like to add, and the council receives a report on the outcomes of the first event, including the effectiveness of the parking plan and community feedback from regular users of the park.
All right. Before I see if I need a seconder, if that is acceptable to the mover and seconder, I can take that on board. So it's acceptable to Councillor Miles, it's acceptable to Councillor Fell, unless you want the record to show you moved an amendment.
No, that's fine.
If you're content with that,
Just happy with
yeah, then it's taken on board and becomes part of the motion. Now we'll resume the clock, and the floor is yours.
there is one more.
We'll
point,
stop the
sorry.
clock. We'll stop the clock.
And a point 4, that council, in consultation with the Department of Education, assesses all options for cross-country events as part of the review of the open space and recreation strategy, which I understand is coming up in this term of
All right.
council.
Is that also acceptable to the mover and seconder? Okay, well then on that basis I'll allow that to be incorporated into the motion. Councillor Hollywood, we'll start the clock again and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr Mayor. Now, I will need to be guided by you as to whether I can actually ask a question with these new standing orders through
You can, but at the moment you're speaking, so do you want to make your speech and ask your questions after it, or do you want me to stop the clock again? You can ask your questions.
My speech will make more sense if I've got an answer to the question.
All right, stop the clock again. Councillor Hollywood with a question.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Through you to the relevant staff and the CEO to the relevant staff member. I note in the report it says that we will be raising a fee of $8.72. I wanted to ask, will this be enough to cover the costs of rangers to ensure that people who are regular users of South Lawson Park have their dogs on the lead?
It's a
so
small.
No children are put into danger because running and dogs can.
Got your question.
Yeah, thanks, Councillor Hollywood, and through you, Mr Mayor. When this was raised, I did say to the director that, and to the manager involved, that they must cover all costs. It must be cost neutral to council. I'm not sure that they considered rangers, and I'll just check through you, Mr Mayor,
Yep.
Acting Director Rebecca Tempest. Do you think they covered the cost of rangers, or do you want to take that on notice and we'll check it? So we'll take that on notice, Councillor Hollywood, and we'll make sure it's
Well-
cost neutral to council.
Well, I don't think you can, because if it doesn't cover the cost, you set a number by resolution.
So we need to maybe change the resolution, Mr Mayor, to have it cover the costs.
Could I see the resolution? Where's the reference to the $800? Where is it? It's in the background. All right. I'm going to suggest a 0.5. And Jasmine, I'm going to get you to write this down because I'm going to be doing it off the top of my head. 0.5 is that the council delegates to the CEO the power to appropriately levy participating schools so that the event is at zero cost to council. Is everyone comfortable with that? Are you happy for that to be incorporated, Councillors Miles and Fell? I know you're passionate about the motion you first moved. You happy for that to be incorporated? All right. Okay. All right. So we've got that covered. Now can I start the clock again? Evie, can we start the clock? Thank you. Councillor Hollywood.
And I will turn my microphone on as well. Thank you. Look, the reason I asked this,
Order. Councillor Fell.
the reason that I asked this question was about the costs is that I am always worried about cost shifting from the state government to councils. And while I note that the Department of Education has this policy around allowing their facilities to be used on the weekend and school holidays, quite often our community doesn't actually get that benefit. And I can talk about Lawson particularly, where there is a basketball hoop, and the school, we've made representations to the school, and unfortunately we haven't been able to get access to that. So the Department of Education is asking us to for access to our facilities, and they do that very, very often, and I'm absolutely happy for that to happen. But I also want to be aware, I want it to be on record on behalf of the regular users of South Lawson Park that this kind of event was never considered for South Lawson Park when we had so many iterations and conversations and reports to council around the master planning process. Cross-country events weren't planned for, and nor were sporting events. In fact, for sporting events, there was proposals for sporting events, but they were actually taken out of the equation. So what is before us tonight is in fact a significant step change in the use of South Lawson Park. South Lawson Park is known for an increasingly used, heavily used. It is not an empty park. It is a well-used park, much loved by dog walkers, but also runners, people with mobility issues, kids riding bikes of all ages. So and this park has been in place for about 3 years, and we're about to get the toilets, which is terrific. But the thing is that there is an existing kind of pattern of use, and this proposal. Sure, it's only for a day, but it is a change. So I do want to make sure that if we need rangers, if the risk assessment suggests that we do need rangers, to make sure that when people take their dogs out of the car that they've got them on the lead before they get to the fenced area, that we do that, because I want children to be safe. The other thing that I want to raise is that, the report doesn't actually talk about other areas that have been assessed, and I understand that there were some discussions about Knapsack Oval being proposed, and in fact I believe that the Mayor was very keen to have the event down there. So the report doesn't actually speak to that. So I also think, it's good that we're going to be communicating with the community about this, and I hope that I know that council staff will do that well. But I do think it's important that we do get a report back about how the first event goes. I think it is really important. I don't want this playing out on social media. I want to be able to say, this is a test, and if it hasn't worked, because parking is really limited and it's used by people that already use the park. So we need to get a report on how it all went, so that if there are any concerns, that we have a process in place to address that. So I also hope that Department of Education will look forward to working with us, and that this is a new start of a partnership between Council and the Department of Education. Thank you.
If I seem a long way away from you all, it's just my chair. I don't want to raise it again, but I just again, just to be helpful from the chair, several years ago, like about 20, council part-funded basketball stadium for Lapston High. And there's a Gazette article that features myself and Jeffrey Egan opening, but just before the Lindsay leaflet thing, opening the stadium together. And the idea was council will help pay for the construction of a stadium on high school land so that the community can have access to it. Guess how much access we get to it? Right. And there are ovals right across the Blue Mountains that are unused every weekend, and council has reached out to schools in the past and said, if we helped you manage and maintain these, gee, to help our crowded soccer ovals that are getting flogged every winter and are turned into dust bowls by the end of the season, if we could do a few runoff games in local schools, if we paid for it and if we helped maintain it, and crickets. So I think there is a conversation, CEO, for you to have, if this motion passes, through your team with local schools to say, we're helping you. We even built your basketball stadium once, but we would renew our calls for some working together. Because you all know our soccer ovals in particular, our cricket fields are flogged. Summer Hayes and Knapsack and St John's are just dust bowls at the end of winter. And yet there's all these lush green ovals of comparable size sitting unused every weekend, and we have offered to help maintain them. It would resolve the overcrowding issues we've got and give the schools access to maintenance they don't currently have. But, so, CEO, ball's in your court, if you'll excuse the expression. There's one matter before us, unless anyone else wants to speak to it. One matter before us, I'll put it. All those in favour? Against? I declare it carried unanimously. All right, so item number 10, it's moved Councillor Redshaw, seconded Councillor Hua. Councillor Redshaw has the call.
Thank you. Mayor,
Sorry, I'll just pause if I can. It's moved Councillor Redshaw and seconded by the Blue Mountains' latest muse, Councillor Hua. So I just recede into the distance.
have to get you a cat out.
It is the cat in the hat.
Order. Order. Order.
So in October last year, Sue Higginson moved a motion to amend the Companion Animals Act to speak in favour of the containment of cats. We all know that cats do a lot of damage to the, particularly to native animals, when they're allowed to roam. To say nothing of what they might do to my backyard when they get in there, which they do. It also, the amendment also asks for funding to support councils to prosecute this new, having the law cover this aspect. But I think just having a law does say something to people. We're already starting to contain cats. And as people have learned to put their dogs on leads, although they do have some unfortunate habits in areas. Generally, when you see dogs around the streets, they're on a lead. People have adapted to that, we don't have the resources to police that all the time, but people have accepted that's what needs to happen, and many councils are asking for this, so it does seem that the population is with us on making this change in many areas. So this is just asking the council to support that amendment, which had a second reading, so bring it back to the government's attention and let the government know that we want to see this happen. Thank you.
Councillor Hua, do you wish to speak? All right, I might actually ask Deputy Mayor to take the chair. In support of you, I just want to say a couple of words. If the Deputy Mayor would take the chair. I'll move from one seat to another. It's a conspiracy bad seats. I'm always providing people with seats.
Okay,
You right?
yeah,
How's your back?
I'm just leaning forward. Okay, thank you. Mr Mayor, Councillor Greenhill, you have the call.
It shows a great deal of disrespect to the position that you left with such an appalling chair. And I support this resolution tonight, but I think there's a small history lesson that's needed. So in most states, councils have the power to regulate cats, but not in New South Wales. That power resides with the state government. So whenever there's a story on cats, Councillor Hollywood and I, because we get tagged more than anyone else, will spend about 2 weeks on social media saying the same thing to people that I've been saying the whole 13 years I've been mayor, and that is we don't have the power to do anything yet. It sits with the state government, which is really the point of your resolution, which is because the state government doesn't do anything and hasn't, irrespective of colour, flavour, forever. And at the moment there's a lack of regulation in relation to cats. So what this resolution seeks to do is to normalise in New South Wales what happens in other states, and that is to empower local government to regulate cats in a way that we can't now. Now, it's not a cat-hating resolution that Councillor Redshaw has moved, not at all. The resolution is all about responsible cat ownership, keeping your cats indoors, you know, having outdoor areas for your cats to run in. I know my former partner and my children have cats, and they have an outdoor cat run which is caged in and connected to the laundry, and the cats can't get into the environment. That's the sort of thing that good cat ownership is all about. The issue is, right now, councils do not have the resources to do this. And I know you addressed this in your motion, and good on you. If the powers were suddenly given to us, we don't have the power to regulate cats across the Blue Mountains. How many ranges have you got, Will? 6? 6? See? I know. We have 6 ranges, and I reckon, and a third of them are actually here tonight, of our entire force. You guys will be pretty busy looking after 40,000 odd homes, wasn't it 30,000 odd homes across the Blue Mountains? We clearly don't have the resources, if the power given to us, to actually do the job. There's a $9 million fund flow to the resolution. I'm happy to support the resolution, but that's not enough. That would support one council, not all of them. And if the state government, what the state government needs to do is give councils the power to regulate cat ownership, but also give us the means by which to do it. And having 6 rangers who've got other jobs to do, the task of looking after 30-odd thousand cat owners in the Blue Mountains, or however many there are, they'd be pretty busy on top of everything else. Lots of overtime, which you don't want. So not that much. So my point is that we don't have the resources, if we get the power right now. 9 million is not enough. But this motion's a start. And what's happening now in New South Wales in relation to promoting responsible cat ownership is nothing. Thank you.
Thank you. I will allow you to resume the chair.
Or what we laughingly refer to as a chair.
Well, yeah.
It's terrible, isn't it? I'm not alone. All right, are there any other speakers on that matter? Well done, Sarah. No? One matter before us? I'll put it. All those in favour? Against? Declare it carried unanimously. All right. Any further business? Any further business, Jasmine? Right, a resolution to close the meetings. Moved Councillor Fell, seconded Councillor West. All those in favour of closing the meeting? Declare the meeting closed.